Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of No Way Jose, starring 12-time IFBB Pro League champion, Arnold Classic champion, the second greatest bodybuilder to ever come out of New England, Jose Raymond. What's up, Jose?
Hey, buddy. How you doing?
Only second best because of Jay Cutler. That's all. Sorry. We
Well,
Jay's props.
pretty good company there.
Yeah. So today we do have to talk about something that's not a pleasant subject. We've been losing people left and right all year in this. People have been dying like crazy. 2021, and we just lost Shawn Rhoden, the 2018 Mr. Olympia, at 46 years old, which is a young man. I'm 52. You're turning 46 in December, right?
47.
Okay, so he was your age.
Shawn was like 7 or 8 months younger than me.
Wow. So, I mean, this hits very close to home. I mean, I don't know how many people that have died that you've known well, but you knew all these people on some level. It's a small family that we have in this industry. We see each other at all the shows. We talk to each other. It's not a big sport, and to be losing this many people, it's really, really alarming. I've been in shock. I've been like reeling in shock, but I'm almost at the point where I'm shocked and I'm saddened every time we lose somebody, but I'm not even surprised anymore. It's been so frequent. It seems like every couple of weeks now somebody dies. Jennifer Hernandez just died. For everyone that we know that's a named bodybuilder and a pro, I guarantee you there's got to be hundreds more that are dying that we'll never know about because they weren't famous, quote unquote famous. So I don't even know where to begin, but what are your general thoughts on this? Why do you think we're seeing such a surge in death like this? This is crazy.
I don't know. It certainly seems crazy, and it certainly seems suspicious, and I'm all over the place with it. I'm like, I listen to all these videos. I listen to you and Dr. Prisk and, some of the opinions that are out there. There's a lot of conspiracy theorists and, I don't know what to make of it, but some of it is just human. We die. We do, and we're all gonna. And with Shawn, it is unfortunate and shocking as it is. You're talking a 46-year-old man that was 300 pounds and under a lot of stress and shit happens. I don't know. I don't know that we can blame COVID. Did he have COVID? Did he get the vaccine? There's so much talk out there.
Yeah.
And I don't know. We don't even know the cause of George's death yet. We don't even know the facts of everything. Mm-hmm. But the more I look into it and the more I hear, I've heard that George's father passed away at the same exact age, at 37 years old.
Oh my goodness!
Of an aneurysm, we don't know. It could have nothing to do with bodybuilding, or it could. And the sport itself, the rigors that you put your body through, does not help. Right. It certainly puts you on the fast track if you do have any family history. If you're not doing everything in your power to counteract it. Being on top of everything, and then sometimes even if you are, it's your time. Right. But I don't know what to make of it, Ron. It does certainly seem like more people this year than we could ever imagine.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem it. It is. It is more.
Totally is.
And I have so many of my own theories of. One of them is that we're living in a social media age. Mm-hmm. So we do hear about it way faster and it's all over the place, in your face. So we do hear about people in Europe, or women in Europe, and, people that a lot of people may not have known. We definitely hear about it sooner. And there's way more. In Arnold's day, there may have been 100 bodybuilders worldwide. Yeah. Now there's thousands in every city of the world. Yeah. There's thousands just here in Boston. And when you use the term bodybuilder, we're including women's figure and physique and so the sport has exploded as far as the amount of people involved, which is going to increase the amount of people who can have negative outcomes. And you match that with social media, it's in our face. So it's more exaggerated than we probably feel it is, you know. But there's no denying, there's been no other year, especially when it's big time guys. You have George, who's a multiple Olympia competitor, who's at the very top of the game, and now a Mr. Olympia. So it hits hard, man. I don't even know what to say.
Here's the thing, you know, I was talking about this with Prisk, and you know, I don't want to start conspiracy theories and arguing about don't get the vaccine. I'm not here to do that. I'm just saying, I'm not blaming the vaccine, but I'm looking at this, we have so many more people dying this year. We've had people abusing tons of gear, eating lots of food, all these other risk factors that come along with the bodybuilding lifestyle of being this big, enhanced freak. Those have been around for a long time. What's changed this year? Why is it, what's different this year than any other year? The only thing I can think of is this vaccine, or maybe the COVID virus itself. These are things that didn't exist until, you know, the vaccine just came around early this year in the spring. I don't know if there's a, you know, I don't know crap about this stuff, but some kind of interaction with the vaccine plus all the other types of damage that we do to ourselves with the drugs and the food and the dieting and something. There has to be something to that. I'm not saying it's the only reason or it's the reason, but I find it hard to believe that there's no correlation, there's no connection between the vaccine and all these deaths. And I just saw that Trigili and someone else, they confirmed that Rhoden didn't get the vaccine. How would they know? Who would have told them that he didn't get the vaccine? Or did he?
I don't know. He seems to confirm everything, but I don't know. Maybe he spoke to someone in the know. I don't know. Yeah. You know, you'd have to reach out to someone like Stanimal, someone who really spent a lot of time with him, you know, day in and day out kind of stuff. So, you know, there's other reasons. It's like, think back, Arnold retired at 28. At 30. Haney was done by 30. Dorian was done by 35 years old. Now you have guys competing longer, being gigantic in later years. You know, George is considered young, and he was 37.
Right.
Shawn was definitely not young. I want to totally exhaust every other reason before I said, I mean, because I had the vaccine. I've been vaccinated.
Me too.
I had both the Pfizer shots, and you know, I don't want to believe that trying to protect myself is now going to possibly kill me. You know, I'm half the size I was competing, I'm not.
No, you're not. Come on, dude.
Well, I'm certainly not. You know, I weigh maybe 212 now. I was.
You're still a big guy. 240
easily. So I'm down at least 30 pounds of my normal person, which was not normal. But I don't want to believe that that is the cause. And if it is, man, is that open up a big can of worms.
Yeah, you made a really good point just now, is that in the old days, guys there was no incentive for them to keep doing it later in life. So they typically were done. I think like Larry Scott, the first Mr. Olympia, I think he only competed from like age 22 to 25 or something, and he was done. That was typical back then. And even in the Arnold days, like Ed Corney I think Ed Corney in the movie Pumping Iron was like 38 or 40, and he was like the old man. They're like, oh my God, this guy's so old. You know, that's like nothing now. And we have guys starting on gear when they're teenagers, and they're in their 40s now, and they've been on pretty much the whole time, not only doing all that damage, because there's no way we like to think we're not hurting ourselves, but you know, in my heart of hearts, I know, would I be a little healthier if I'd never done all this gear? I'm damn sure I would be. So you have people on gear for 20, 30 years. You have people holding all this mass, eating all this food. That's another thing, puts stress on the body. eating 6 freaking meals a day. Who does that? Why do we do that? And then the contest prep, you know, people gaining 50 pounds, losing 50 pounds over and over and over and over, and insulin and freaking thyroid meds and clenbuterol and these idiots that use DNP. There's so many things that are just risk factors, and you pile them all up. And yeah, then because every time I hate mentioning the vaccine or the virus, because then people, it just starts so much shit talking on the comment section on the videos and everything, because everyone's got their own opinion and they're damn sure that they're right. But I don't think it has to be an additional, I can't believe that that is not an additional risk factor somehow for all these bodybuilders. Because like I said, we've been in this situation with people not being healthy for a long time. We've never lost this many people. And yeah, social media, but we've had Instagram for what's like 10 years now. It's been around. We've had the ability to, somebody died the past like 10, 15 years. We knew about it like that. Whereas back in the old days, like a week would go by and you'd hear, hey, did you hear so-and-so died? You're like, nah, did they really? Now it's like when Rhoden, when did you hear about Shawn, for instance?
The morning, was it Saturday morning?
Yeah. And within an hour, my Instagram feed was like almost 100% Shawn Rhoden. Everybody, including me, had a picture of Shawn, themselves with Shawn, little tribute, little RIP. And that was within like an hour of that news breaking. There were millions of posts about it. Whereas, 20 years ago, I can remember hearing, and another thing, I'm going way off topic, but I remember like back in the old days, you'd hear about somebody being dead, and most of the time it turned out to be a rumor. It wasn't true. Like I remember hearing Dorian was dead, Nasser was dead. This is back in the 90s. It seems like every time now I hear about it, it's not a rumor. They're dead. I've never heard one false report that I can remember.
Well, it's too easy to confirm it now.
Right. Yeah.
Before it even gets a chance to be a rumor, that person's posting on Instagram.
Yeah. So I'm going to say
there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with talking about it. There's nothing wrong with giving your opinion of it's the vaccine or it's COVID or it's how else are we going to figure it out if nobody talks about it? I'm okay with it. It's the people that are 100%. You guys are crazy. It's definitely the vaccine. Well, he didn't get a vaccine.
Yeah.
Or I don't know if he did or if he didn't, but nobody knows for sure. And even to scream that, oh, it's definitely the Anadrol he did back in 2006, we don't even know that. We don't know what for sure. But the only thing we know is that we're humans and we're all going to die.
We're all going to. It's funny. I haven't been to church in a while, but probably about 10 years ago, they used to have like visiting priests come from, there's a ton of them coming from like Africa lately. I guess that's, America, nobody wants to be a priest, but I guess in Africa, they can still talk people into becoming a Roman Catholic priest. This guy started off his sermon or whatever you want to call it by saying, who here is afraid to die? Everybody put their hand up. And he goes, why? You're all going to die. And everyone was like looking at each other like, did he really just say that? But yeah, I posted something the other day. It's the Latin saying that the Stoics had, memento mori, remember you must die, because we are all going to die. It might not be today, it might not be next week, but someday we're all going to die. I'm personally terrified. I'm terrified to die because I just don't know. I don't like the unknown, and I don't know what happens. I don't know what kind of afterlife there is. You don't. Who does?
The fact that you know that you're going to die should inspire you to live.
Yeah.
It's nobody wants to die. It is terrifying, but you want to make sure that you live while you have the chance.
Yeah.
And do the best you can and enjoy every moment possible.
Yeah.
Because as you see, this is sad, man.
I mean, I want to
like Shawn. I'm really, really, really sad for him that he wasn't able to clear his name before his death. That is another part of this story that is very frustrating. And I hope to God somehow that case still goes through. And I know they're probably just going to drop it because he's not here.
Right.
But we don't need him here. It's this woman needs to prove her case. And because in my mind, it played a role in his death.
Oh, the stress of being like accused of a crime like that. I can only imagine,
yeah.
because anybody can accuse, any man can be accused of rape. Any man can be accused of it. And just being accused of it, it's like a black spot on your name. Because a lot of people will, no matter how much you can prove that I wasn't even, unless you can prove like you were out of the country that day or something, there's no way I would possibly, some people will still say, I bet he did it. And, you know, and your reputation is always tarnished, even if you do clear your name. But you know what's creepy? I said this to Milos. I was certain we were never going to see Shawn compete again. And I didn't know why I was so sure of it, but I said, I know we're never going to see him on a stage again. I just know it. And you know, I think even thinking if the case got cleared, whatever, I just said, something tells me I'm never going to see this guy again. That Olyympia where he looked so amazing, that's the last memory I'll ever have of that guy. And he was so good that year. He was just damn near perfect.
That would have won, in my eyes, would have won the last 3 Olympias.
100%.
I have no question. So, you know, that tells me he's lost millions of dollars that could have gone to his daughter. They could have gone to his family. You know, it pisses me off. I mean, that in America, people can make false allegations and destroy a person's life without any recourse.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's got to be some laws changed that, you know, if you make a false allegation, you do the time. You do the time that he was going to do. You do
or at the least, you could file a lawsuit to get all your legal expenses, because he had to shell out all that money for a legal representation to even though he didn't go to trial. I'm sure he still spent a good amount of money in these past couple of years just retaining lawyers and stuff like that. If he's found innocent or found not guilty, whatever, he should have been able to get all that money back, plus damages to his career, all the money he lost out on, sponsorships, all that stuff. I'm going to switch gears now, because anytime that we've had a death, and it's like every other week now, people say something needs to be done. Something needs to be done. The IFBB, what are they supposed to do? You know, let's play devil's advocate. You're running the IFBB. What could you do about this?
Nothing.
What are you supposed to do?
If they do anything, then they're admitting, or I don't want to step on my dick here, but they're basically admitting involvement or being complicit to it if they come out and do or say anything.
Yeah.
What they're gonna say, and what they're just running shows. They're just giving us or giving the competitors the platform to compete. They cannot police every single last thing that someone puts in their body. Now, I think Victor Priest mentioned, like, if they get wind of something and they know that someone looks sick, they hear it backstage, you know, do not let that guy on stage.
Yeah.
Send that person home. If they see someone at weigh-ins and they're about to pass out, do not let that person on stage. They can do little things like that, which is just basically the honorable, humane thing to do. But aside from that, if they get into drug testing every athlete at every event, say goodbye to bodybuilding. It's not going to be here anymore.
Everyone's just going to try to beat the test. That's all they would do. Like Coach, do you know who Coach Greg is? Greg Doucette makes the videos. Guy up in Canada.
Of course. Yeah.
So he just made one, and he was talking about they should have. He says, well, they need to add another division, a natural division. I'm like, are you out of here?
They are up in Canada. Ron Hash is doing that.
Okay, but I mean, to do that at every show, that was his suggestion. Every show.
No.
And again, then you're pointing out that these people are on drugs and these people aren't. You're clearly making a spectacle out of it. But getting back to what you said, you know, the IFBB has done that. Remember Dennis Newman long ago in the 90s? He had leukemia. He wanted to come back. They would not reinstate his pro card. They would not let him compete because they didn't want to be held, you know, they didn't want to have any liability if anything ever happened to this guy, because he beat cancer and then he's going to get all jacked up and have a heart attack. You know, they didn't want any part of that. And I think that happened with Flex Wheeler too. After his kidney transplant, I think he wanted to compete again. And at the time, I think they denied him. They said, no. So they have done that. They have stopped people when they see a clear danger that this person, they're being reckless and they're just saying, you know, I'll just roll the dice and see what happens. And they don't let that happen in obvious examples. But You can't. They're saying they should have checkups backstage and everyone should have to have a medical. Dude, we're gonna have like, let's say a Tim Gardner show has 300 athletes in it, a pro show. You have 300 medical visits that day. You're gonna have like a whole team of doc. Come on. I mean, it's just not realistic. And I'm not sticking up. I have, I'm not affiliated with them. I cover their shows and everything, but I'm not on their payroll at all. And I think it's ridiculous. That's all.
Yeah, it's up to the athletes themselves, the competitors themselves, to police themselves, to police each other. If I know that a friend of mine is doing something absolutely insane, I'm going to tell him, don't do it. I'm going to do everything I can to stop that. But what can you do, really, other than, and that's where, who knows? Like, who knows? What do you do? What do you do? I'm sure if Jim Mannion or Steve or anyone knew for a fact that someone was putting someone in danger, they'd either get kicked out or knocked out. There's only so much they can do. Like you said, what are you gonna do, a screening on 1,000 competitors the weekend of North Americas?
Yeah,
you can't. I mean, they just keep talking about it like we're doing now, and maybe Jim or Tyler does a video, a public service announcement to the entire fitness community, and says, knock it off. We're not looking for, what you think. Like say Nick Walker looks the way he does because he's got the genetics to look the way he does. The smallest men's physique guy, he's not going to look like Rami or Nick Walker by taking a zillion drugs. It's not going to happen.
Right.
So don't put your focus on that. I liked what Victor was saying in regarding condition. Like he's right 100%. Like diuretics is not going to get you shredded. You got to be shredded. Yeah. You got to come in. You can't come in fat, because if you come in fat and take diuretics, you're going to be a fat guy. You have to be in condition. And he was so right about that. Diuretics don't even work unless you're in shape.
Right. Yeah, you'll notice no difference. You'll just be flatter. That's it.
Right. It's more about just educating people and hopefully less and less idiots being allowed to coach people. Because I know of a lot of complete morons that are coach this and coach that and have people that are working with them and they've never done a damn thing themselves. Have zero experience having done this over, maybe you did do one show.
Yes. But
you need experience. You need good ones and bad ones to understand what can happen. And I'm at a loss because I don't know what the hell can be done. I don't think anything can be done legally.
No.
And I don't think,
like you said, it's just got to come down to personal accountability. 30, 40 years ago, maybe you could claim ignorance about, I didn't know what these steroids, I didn't know what these drugs were. I didn't know what they could do to me. We all have phones and computers. You could find out all this stuff right now if you want to, guys. There's no excuse to be ignorant. It's your body. Don't just take what a coach tells you to take, not even knowing what it is. Or, he says, take 3 grams of this and you look it up and the therapeutic dosage used in medicine is like 1/30th of that or something. The side effects, all that stuff, the damage to the heart. There's a million videos on YouTube about it. Dr. Thomas O'Connor does great videos all the time. You're taking a chance. Being a bodybuilder and using PEDs and getting all that size, you're taking a chance. You need to know that you're rolling dice. It's your health. It's your body. You have one life to live, like the old soap opera on ABC. But you can't just say the organization needs to do this, or we need to ban all the coaches, or no. It's every bodybuilder out there who's using stuff knows that it's dangerous. They know exactly how it's dangerous, or if they don't, they're just being morons and they don't want to know. They'd rather not know anything about it. There's no excuse anymore to be ignorant. say, oh, I didn't know that they could hurt my heart. I didn't know that having high blood pressure for 5 years could destroy my kidneys. Dude, it's all out there, guys. You have no excuse to be unhealthy. We all have medical care. Geez, in our state, in every state, if you don't have any money, we have like Mass Health. Every state's got some kind of medical. You can see a doctor. You can get your blood work done, depending on your insurance. I have a cardiologist. I go through it in the tube with the dye injector. What's that? MRI, see, or whatever, CAT scan. I mean, you need to be on top of all that stuff, because if you don't, if you have these issues and they go untreated and you keep blasting gear and staying 270 or 300 pounds, I hate to say it, but it's your funeral. And it's not just you, unless you're some person with no friends and no family. You got to think about all these other people. My kids are grown up, but I'm not leaving my kids behind, and somebody who's got young kids,
Did you hear about Callie Muscle had a heart attack too?
So I don't want to open up a can of worms, but has he always claimed natural?
I don't think so.
I think he has, actually.
Yeah, he might have been kidding around.
Correct me in the comments, guys. I don't follow him that closely, so I don't know for sure, but I believe he's always said he was natural, which I didn't buy into, but whatever. But yeah, it's terrible. The heart attacks are happening like every freaking week now. Thank God he's alive. He didn't pass away, but every week somebody's having a heart attack, somebody's dying. I hate to use the word epidemic, but it's dude, this is.
It seems it
does. I mean, we've both been around a very long time, and I've never seen anything like this.
Well, we're very lucky that we've yet to see it happen on stage. That thank God, because that might cause a big ripple.
Oh yeah.
If someone's hitting a front double and collapses on the stage, and that I mean, we're not far from that. That could very easily happen.
And that's when the government steps in and says, we're gonna have to regulate you guys. We're gonna have to, because you're not regulating yourselves.
Have you seen all the stuff happening? I see these videos popping up of soccer players over in Europe. Same thing. A lot of people, young people, dying of heart attacks. That's this year.
Wow. Okay, well, I hate to be that guy again, but what's different about 2021 than any other year before it? There's only one thing I can think of. It's the vaccine.
I'm not completely throwing out that possibility, but I'm trying to wrap my head around it just being a whole host of other things combined with that as well.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying I believe it's possibly a contributing factor on top of all the other shit that's already going on. We already have all these other issues that are making bodybuilders die young anyway. And now you throw that into the mix, and who knows,
the last 4 people to pass away, the big name ones, were all advanced age. Even George is older for what we used to think of bodybuilding, and then Jennifer was in her 50s, almost 60, 59 years old.
Right.
John was almost 50.
49, I believe, yeah.
Yeah, and Shawn, it happens.
I mean, heart attack is the #1 cause of death in the United States across the board for everybody, regardless who you are, whether you've never seen a weight in your life. But I guess it's just ironic, because we like to think of ourselves as so much healthier than these fat slobs who sit at home watching cable TV all night and drinking their beer and eating their chips. But are we really? I don't know. I mean,
I'd like to believe we are. I'd like to believe that people drop dead every day at young ages. It's very frustrating, because there is no answer.
Yeah.
And we can talk about it till we're blue in the face, and we just have to hope and do the best you can. Make some changes.
I'm gonna make it personal for you for the last question. Does it, I'm sure in the back of your mind, the comeback thing must occasionally pop into your head. It has to, because you still look pretty damn good, considering you could come back and do very well. But everything that's happened this year, and all these people all these people passing away young for, considering the life expectancy is close to 80 in the USA, or it was before COVID. It's coming down now. Does it make you think twice? Like, nah, I'm good, retired.
So only in the last few days, to be honest with you. But I have no intention of coming back. I fantasized about it for a year or two, and then the injuries just kept compiling, and like now my shoulders, I need shoulder replacements. I still need to get the other hip done. There's no way in hell I'm making any sort of comeback. I just want to be in great shape and be strong and be as good as I can be for everyday life and to do my job. I'm never going to be tiny. Like that's not my genetics. I'm always going to be a pretty hefty person for my height, and I love to train, and I will continue to train, and I will continue to eat the way I eat. It's what works with my life. Every day I eat like a bodybuilder. I get up and make my egg whites and my cream of rice, and then I'll have rice and tuna or rice and chicken, and those are my meals. I have a shake as soon as I finish training and have a clean meal at night, and then I have a little snack before bed. But I do cardio a shitload, because I love it, and that's all I know. That's my life. And but to answer your question, yes, it would definitely, especially at this age, if my joints were 100% and I felt great, I would be questioning what's the point, especially if I wasn't one of the few best in the world. Like if I wasn't gonna win a show, I wouldn't do it. No way. It's no way.
Well,
I don't like the idea of what it took. Talk about the jab. You having the jab a couple times a day. No, it's not worth it to me. I wouldn't do it.
I'll throw myself under the bus since I put you on the spot too. I was thinking about competing next year because I watched some of these shows that have masters, where masters going to get their pro cards. And I've seen a couple where I would have beat the guy who got a pro card at some show, or that one show or another. So yeah, in the back of my mind, I was thinking, I'll do North American last year. And, this is nothing against the organization or against the sport. This is my personal decision, my opinion. Is it worth it to me? Could I turn pro in one of these shows like these guys did and never be heard from again? Because I know I'm not very good. I'm well aware. There are shows that I could be lucky and get a pro card, but pro cards today are not like pro cards 10, 20, 30 years ago. It's not the same. Levroni said, we just talked, he said, there were less than 150 pros, men and women in the world when he turned pro. 150. And I think like at the Nationals, I think they turn like 100 people pro at every net anyway. So 52, I'll be 53 next September, God willing. What's it going to do? Would the risk be? I know what I would need to do in terms of PEDs to look the way I would want to look to guarantee my best possible chance of beating every other over 50 knucklehead that turns up in my class and get the pro card. But for what? What's a pro card going to do for me? What? Is Steve going to pay me more money because I'm a pro? No. I could maybe charge a little more money to coach people or something. I don't know, but it's not. I don't want to die, man. I don't want to die. I'm terrified of dying. Sue me. Sorry.
I'm very glad and happy that I did what I did, and I had the career that I did, and met the people I met, and experienced all those experiences. Yeah. I certainly hope it doesn't come back to bite me in the ass at a younger age.
Yeah.
I'd like to make it into a good age, but there's no promises. There's no, all my health checks have been great. But honestly, I have zero blockages, zero plaque clogging. All my numbers are great. I do have a bit of sleep apnea still because I am heavy for a little person.
Well, you have it's a neck too, I think.
Yeah, I do. It's not as bad as it used to be, but I still do have a bit of it. So who the hell knows? But I'm going to continue living my life and to the best quality that I can. And that's what everyone should do.
Yeah.
People don't, all bodybuilders are not health conscious and are not doing it whatsoever to be healthy.
Right.
And I always kept a certain amount of health in the back of my mind.
Mhm.
You know, I enjoyed doing shitloads of cardio and I never had any, you know, issues with heart readings or anything like that.
Yeah.
So,
And not for nothing, but
but
your dad passed away. What was he, like 90, 95?
no, he was 80.
80? Oh, okay. I don't know why
Yeah,
I thought, I
yeah.
don't know why I thought he was like 95 or something.
He
But,
had dementia. He passed away of dementia.
oh wow. Okay.
But
Yeah.
yeah, my genetics are pretty good to be healthy. My older brother's 64 and he looks unbelievable in great shape, you know.
Tito's 52. He looks like he's about 28.
Yeah, yeah, there's some good genetics there. You know, but you never know. You never know. So I don't sit around thinking about it.
Mm.
I just do the things that I can to be as healthy as I can and enjoy my life as much as possible because you just don't know.
Yeah.
I could have perfect health checks and get struck by lightning. You know, who the hell knows?
Yeah. Don't go golfing in the rain. And when you get that hole in one, you hold it. No, that was Caddyshack. Remember?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh
But
man. Yeah. No, you're right. You don't want to.
It seems like we do this every week or every other week, a video on what can be done on.
Needs to be talked about though.
Yeah, and I think each time a few more people get the picture, and if you can do anything, get your health checked. You know, try to stay on top of it as much as possible. And just because you get a clean bill of health doesn't mean go pound 15 IUs of growth. Go, you know, go do 3,000 milligrams of test. You know.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's enough that just to throw it out there. I think we bodybuilders tend to only get our blood work done when we've been off stuff for a couple months. Because I think deep down, I know I'm afraid to get my blood work done when I'm in the middle of using a lot more than I should use. For instance, like the one time I did it years ago, I had just done the New England or something. And it was a weird, I was taking all this I had all these Winstrol tabs that were 50 milligram tabs from International Pharmaceuticals, these blue things. And I was crazy. I'd wake up in the middle of the night and like pop 2 of them because I feel like I'm going flat. You know, I didn't have a coach. I didn't have anyone to. So I went and I had my physical like the week after the show. It just happened to fall. You know, you got to schedule these things months in advance with doctors. And the guy came back after my blood work. He had me come into the office. He says, I think you have hepatitis. I'm like, what? I don't have hepatitis. He goes like, I look at this blood, look at your numbers here. I'm like, no, let me explain what I was doing. And he chewed me out. He was like a fat guy and he had cigarettes on his breath. And I said, this F you, dude, telling me because he gave me his whole speech and said, I'm going to die and steroids are this, steroids that. And I got so mad, I switched doctors immediately. But just goes to show you, you don't know what's really going on unless you get the blood work done in the middle of a blast. Don't wait till you've been off shit for like 3 months. That's not telling you what's really going on at all. Anyway, I'm all over the place as usual. Anyway, let's put it in.
It needs to be spoken about.
Yeah.
It's the more people can hear it, the more they'll think about it, the more maybe they'll investigate their own health.
Yeah.
You know, that's the one thing I would say is look into it as much as you can, and then take some proactive measures to do the best you can.
Yeah.
You know, we got one life. That's it.
True. All right. Well, let's put a wrap on it. Guys, I want you to like these videos, comment on the videos. I will get back to all the comments. Maybe Jose will too. I don't know. But I'll definitely respond to all your comments. Share the videos, subscribe, do the notification thing. And of course, you got to go to this other YouTube channel called The Boston Mass. That is Jose's channel. All kinds of great stuff on there. Interviews, workouts. Him and his buddy Nate go to all these crazy cool gyms all over the place. They're going to go to a new one in Boston soon that Nate's opening up. Go to Jose's website, thebostonmass.com, for merchandise, coaching services, and so much more. And last but not least, Instagram. It's the THEE. You got to add that extra E. The Boston Mass. Somebody must have had the Boston Mass already or something, I'm guessing. Yeah. So that's it, man. Thank you, Jose. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
This was a conversation that had to be had. And, you know, if somehow this conversation makes a few people think twice and change what they're doing, or at least get more medical attention, anything, any positive thing, I'm happy that we did something good today.
Me too, Ron.
Cool. All right. Thanks for everyone for watching another episode of No Way Jose, and we'll see you next time.